Hi everybody, Natasha Koch here with the Van City Home Team. Real estate agent here in New Westminster, servicing all of Greater Vancouver and the Fraser Valley, and talking about something really kind of passionate to me, credit rating. I'm kind of obsessed with credit. I don't know if anybody out there is quite like that. I'm not an accountant by any means, and I'm not giving credit advice. But once you've, and if you've ever damaged your credit score, you will know that it isn't fun when you go to try to apply for financing for something and you're declined. So I don't like to be told no. Maybe it's because I'm an only child. I don't know. But I am definitely obsessed with making sure that I know how to improve someone's credit. So let's go through the 8 ways to build your credit fast if it's on the lower side. Now, low, if you don't know, is anything below 680 if you're wanting to apply for a mortgage. I mean, you can get mortgage options below 680, but to get something conventional and at the good rates that they're offering right now, you want to have 680 or plus. So number one of the fastest ways that you can make it is to make frequent payments. So I didn't actually know this. I thought, well, you just wait for your due date and you make your payment, or you make your full payment, pay off your credit card, and don't carry a balance. If you make frequent little micro payments towards your balance, it's actually better. And there's a credit factor called credit utilization, and it's super powerful. So if you make micro payments, it kind of tricks it into thinking that you're paying off, I guess, more than what you need to. Number 2, ask for higher limits. And when you do that, don't go and spend more on your credit card. But the more distance you have from what you owe on your credit card to what you can possibly spend on your credit card makes a big difference. It also factors in your utilization and how much risk you are. So if you get a credit card that has $10,000 on it, it's always a good idea to keep your balance. It's good to keep a zero balance, but if you're going to keep any balance at all, you don't want to go above 50% of that. So if you're already above 50% and there's no way that you can get down, call the credit card company and see if there's any way that you can get a higher limit. But make sure that you ask them without pulling a hard credit inquiry. So there's a soft credit inquiry and a hard credit inquiry. Hard credit inquiries actually reduce your beacon score. It's called a beacon score, by the way. The 680 points that I'm talking about is called a beacon score. Number 3, dispute. If you go on to Equifax, you can actually pull your own credit report free of charge every 12 months. You're allowed to get a copy of it. It gives you a detailed report, everything on your credit, every credit card you have, every one that's closed, every one that's inquired. If you see anything that isn't right or doesn't appear right, or says that you maybe made a payment not on time and it's not true, dispute it, because they actually have 30 days to file any rebuttal to your dispute. So if for some reason, maybe, if it was true and they didn't file the response, then you would win the dispute. So, it's kind of like getting a speeding ticket and the police don't show up in the courthouse. Probably doesn't happen as often, so don't count on it. And I'm not encouraging anybody to state a false truth on their credit payment history, but if you definitely see something that is not right, send in your dispute. So number 4 is to become an authorized user. So an authorized user, it sounds kind of weird, but anyway, it means to attach yourself to someone else, friend or family, that have a really great credit rating. So it doesn't mean you get to use their credit card. They don't have to give you a credit card, but you can attach yourself to their credit card as an authorized user, and believe it or not, it will actually pull up your credit more than you think. So it's a trust factor, I guess. Number 5, use a secured credit card. So a secured credit card is a type of card where like pay as you go, where you make a cash deposit in advance. So you're always making sure that you have the money in advance before you spend it on credit. So using a secured credit card like that is good to start off if you're just wanting to build credit. I know that my kids both got pay-as-you-go credit cards to start building their credit. You can do that as well if you're trying to increase your credit score. This one I actually didn't know, so I thought, when you're wanting to build your credit, you don't want to have too many credit cards. So I went and closed all my credit cards thinking that reducing my credit ability would put me at a lesser risk, but actually it's not true. Apparently, you should keep them open. If you were given the credit, keep them open. Maybe not Canadian Tire or something like that, but some of the major, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, you can spend little tiny amounts on them and then pay them off right away, or do your frequent micro payments on them. Number 7, mix it up. So what I mean by mix it up is if you, let's say you just have a lot of debt on credit cards only, or you have several credit cards and no actual loans or lines of credit, try to mix it up. It's actually, it's perceived as credit worthiness if you have credit cards and lines of credit, or, one of each. So maybe you want to ask for a line of credit if you don't already have one, to consolidate a couple of your credit cards. And that way you've got a mix of both, but it's good to mix it up. Number 8, it's the biggest one there is paying your bills on time. So I cannot emphasize how crucial this is when it comes to credit rating. If you pay 30 days late or more, they are going to register it on your credit card. If you know you're going to be late, don't put your head in the sand. Deal with the elephant in the room. It's kind of funny to, if you're an avoider, now is not the time to avoid. I mean, stuff happens for everybody, and especially at times like this where maybe, we can't make those payments right away. Call the creditor, make arrangements. The last thing you want them to do is register it on your bureau. It's hard to overcome that, and it will really, really affect your credit beacon score. So, of course, if you've had one missed payment, it does happen, so don't get too discouraged. You can show, good payment follow-up after that, and a lot of lenders will overlook the one missed payment if it was by accident, but you don't want to see a repeat of 30 days late. What I wanted to share is, let's say you've got a score in the 500s. Is it possible to bounce your score up to what you need at 680? Like, can you really increase it by 100 points? And the truth is, yes, you can. If you take some of these steps, if you have low credit, you obviously have a better chance of increasing your credit rapidly. If you already have a really long-standing high credit rating, probably if you follow these steps, you're not going to see a drastic increase, but that's because you already have good credit as it is. So there's nowhere to really increase it to. But if you have bad credit and you have definitely been, paying things slowly or not following some of these tips, these are definitely ways that you can improve your credit fast. So get on your credit, everybody. I love to see everybody get into the market, buy a house. Don't buy a car if you're planning on buying a house. It's one of the worst things you can do is have that debt on your credit. But I love to help people with their finances and making their dreams come true. So if you have any questions at all or comments, I'd love to hear them.